Hello to everyone and welcome on this YouTube channel. So this is tutorial number 7 of our training in C programming. So today we are going to work on operators in C. Operators in C. Good. So what's an operator? An operator is a symbol that tells the computer to perform an operation on one or more values. Good. So you have values. In fact, when you talk about operators are just helping us to manipulate values in our program. Good. Now we have different type of operators. So you're not going to waste time here. So here the first type falling under operators, we have arithmetic operators. So at this level, everybody master it. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So in programming, this is how we are writing them. So remember the symbol that I'm putting here, these are the different symbols used in programming. Like in the previous video, the code of addition, you saw that there I've used just this simple plus to add two numbers. So it's the same thing if you are doing subtraction or multiplication, division, you are using this. But the next thing is what? Modulus. Modulus here, in fact, or you say modulo if you want, modulo. So modulo generally is used to have for the remainder of a division. Example, 4 modulo 2 is what? 0. Because 4 modulo 2 is the same thing as saying that 4 divided by 2, but you take the remainder. Because 4 divided by 2 is what? It's 2. So remainder what? 0. So that 0 is what you take as your remainder. So it's exactly that. If you want to take another example, if I take another example like 5 modulo 2. 5 modulo 2. And normally 5 modulo 2 simply means 5 divided by 2, which is giving you 2.5. Good. 2.5 is the same as what? 2 remainder 1, sorry. Good. So you are seeing that the remainder here is what? 1. It simply means that 2 modulo 5 is equals to 1. This is how we do it. Another way of doing modulo is by, generally when you are doing modulo, the values here in front of the mode is your answer. It's your final answer here. But just that this value must be strictly less than the mode. You see, like here I'm having 5 modulo 2. Good. So you are seeing that 5 is greater than 2. I'm supposed to have normally something less than this 2. So how to obtain something less than? You take this value, so the value that you are having here, which is 5, you subtract by the modulo. Yes, modulo what? 2. And you'll be doing this continuous subtraction until you have a value which is less than the mode. Like here, I'm having 5 mod 2. 5 mod 2, I'm going to do what? 5 minus 2. 5 minus 3 is what? 3. So I'm going to have 3 modulo 2. But you are seeing that 3 is still greater than this one. So you continue again the subtraction still by the mode. So you have what? 3 minus 2. So 3 minus 3 is what? 1. So you have 1 mode 2. Now you are seeing that this value is less than the mode. So it simply means that your final answer is what? 1. So therefore 5 mod 2 is equals to 1. So this is how we calculate the mode. So please, if you're not understanding, make sure you go back again and you watch the video. Good. So it's exactly that concerning mode. Generally in algorithm, to represent mode, you use the keyword mode like this, or you write in full modulo. There's no problem because it's algorithm. But in C programming, mode is represented using percentage like that. Percentage, not percentage, percentage. So percentage simply means mode. So we are going to practice. Let us practice with a small exercise. Like, let me just write an algorithm that collects a single integer from a user. And on that single integer, he's going to test if the number is even or odd. Are we there? Good. Now here we are entering into primary school stuff. Like in primary school, what is an even number? What is an odd number? If you are not able to define an even number and odd number, you cannot solve this question. So you see that the question is very easy, but at least this is small knowledge you need to have. What is an even number? What is an odd number? Good. Now let me just go back here. So I'm going to proceed like in primary school. Good. Now, what's an even number? So we know generally when we talk about even and odd number. So generally, even number is any number that when you divide by 2, the remainder is what? 0. And odd number is any number that when you divide by 2, the remainder is what? Is 1. As easy as that. Good. So you are seeing that in your program. So having this knowledge now, you're supposed to have the inspiration on how you'll be writing your program. Meaning, how you're going to write your program. You simply collect the number that you are testing from the user. Let us say that number is called n. Then you'll be having a condition where you are testing if that n divided by 2, the remainder is giving us 0. If the remainder is giving us 0, it simply means that the number that I've collected is even. But now, if I test my condition, n divided by 2, and the remainder is not giving 0, giving something different from 0, it simply means that number is what? that number is odd. So this is how you'll be doing it, as easy as that. So let me just write the code very fast. So step 1. So at this level, normally create a new file. So let me just create a new file for you. Good. Because I told you that you're supposed to have separate file for each of your code so that you can revise it later. Good. So remember how you are writing code. So I close my braces. Good. After closing, you write your return 0. Good. Now the first thing is what is to collect the number from the user. So print f, I'm going to say enter the number to test. Good. So you put your slash n, you put your semicolon because it's an instruction. So here I'm trying to collect the number, so I'm going to say, now before collecting this number, make sure you declare the variable that will store the number. So I'm calling it in, maybe let me just call it n, in n. You close it because the number that I'm testing is an integer, and it's exactly what I was saying. Are you seeing how I've started writing the code before thinking that I'm supposed to add a variable, to declare a variable? Sorry. So generally, it's exactly what happens when you're writing a program. So sometimes when you're writing your code, don't think that you are dull. No, it's very possible to forget. But just that as you are writing your code, in fact, there are certain things you'll be thinking of, you see, and in that case, you just modify the code. Good. Like here, I'm using a scanf, but I'm seeing that how am I using scanf without the variable where I'm supposed to store my value, you see. From there, I'm going to think about that. So here is percentage, you close now here, comma. Remember that you put your and symbol since you are trying to store something in the memory. So after doing this, normally remember the good practice, you're supposed to test if this is working, but I think everything is perfect there. So after having the number, I'm going to use what we call an if condition. It's so that normally we are supposed to study this in the next video, but no problem. Let me just mention it very fast. I'm going to say if, in bracket, if n now modulo 2 is equal to, now when you are doing comparison in the if condition, the equals to that you are writing is not just this equals to like that. If you can say it's equals to 0, this is wrong, you see. Now comparison in the if is double equals to. When you put single equals to in programming simply means affectation, like what we did in the first video. Sum equals to a plus b. You are saying that there you are using 1 equals to, which means what? Affect the result of a plus b to sum, like the previous video. But here inside the if, inside a condition, it's not more possible. Here you double the equals to, so that this line here is doing but comparison of n on n modulo 2 and 0. So you are comparing if this is equals to this. Now what is the structure? The structure is you open your braces like this, you open and close, never forget that. Now if n modulo 3 is equals to 0, meaning that if your number divided by 3 is giving you the remainder 0, what are you supposed to print here? You're supposed to print a message like the number is even. Good. So you put your slash n, semicolon. Now remember that after this is the if else. Here I've put it print in capital letter. Here I've written print in capital letter, so I've corrected it already. It's okay. It's small letter. Good. After that, now you write your else. Remember that the else is out of the brace. Very, very important to know that. Very, very. Now, for the else, now you open again the next braces, you see. Meaning that this is another block of code here for the else condition. And the else condition, I'm supposed to display something like the number is odd, and I'm done, you see. So this is how the if works. If, in bracket your condition, you open braces, open and close for the true statement. Let me say the true statement, because this is how the if works generally. You test a condition. If the condition is true, do this. Else, do what? Something else. Now when you write the else, you open another braces to indicate the block of instruction for the false condition. Very important, because some students are very funny. They see someone saying else, he just write the code directly without even opening the brace, and the end he's closing. You don't even know why the person is closing. Good. So the advantage is that in C programming, now we have a debugger, or we have some tool, in fact, that help also identify certain things in the code. Example, you see when I'm placing my cursor at the level of this opening brace, it's showing me where it is closed, you see. So things like that is helping you to know how you're manipulating your braces so that you don't make funny mistakes. Good. Now there are situations where in fact we don't need the braces, but I don't want to explain it here because it's not necessary for you. Put in mind that in fact you use your braces for block of code, full stop. Good. Now after doing this, now the next thing is what? Is all what the program is doing. Good. Control S, you save your code. Now see, I go to desktop, C programming. Now inside C programming, the name of this code is what? Is let me just call it even number, even odd number. So give names. In fact, that generally when you be seeing it after, you remember in fact what you were doing inside that file. So save type, C source file, never forget that. Now you click on save. After doing that, is okay, you can execute your code. Good. Now here there is a mistake at the level of line 7. Good. Line 7, scan. I'm using T there. There is no T in scanf, so I remove, Control S, I continue. Everything is perfect now. So enter the number to tell. If I enter 4, normally 4 is even, so you see the number is even. Perfect. Now you close this terminal, you execute again. Now enter something like 5. Normally 5 is odd number, so you see the number is odd. So your code is working perfectly, nothing difficult. Good. So we are done with arithmetic operations. So in the next video, we are going to study the other types of operators that exist. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a positive comment, and thank you. See you in the next video. Any question, ask in the comment section, because I'm not seeing the use of looking this video, you're not understanding something and you just pass like that. No, ask your question and I will reply to you. Very important.